Hello, this is a little showcase of how The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild runs in the Steam Deck using the latest version of Yuzu. Now, as many of you probably already know, uh, Switch games don't perform great to say the least. The console is already pretty outdated with its capabilities. So it's no surprise that, for example, this game Breath of the Wild doesn't run very well on the Switch too. Like, okay, the game is aimed to run at 30 FPS, but it's not so smooth on the original console. So, uh, if like you can see here, yeah, it's 30 FPS, but not so smooth 30 FPS. This is not a problem with the emulation or the Steam Deck power. This is exactly how the game runs in the original Switch, in original software. So this result, what you are seeing here, is to be expected to run. This is how the games should perform, uh, like normally, yeah? Right. Now, there are things to keep in mind. First, when you exit the full screen mode, for some reason the resolution gets, uh, I don't know, like if you're using some kind of how to call it, some filter, but you aren't using one. Well, at least I'm not using one, so I don't know what causes this. But if you enter again full screen mode, you can see that the resolution gets fixed. Now, for the settings, if to this specific game, like, uh, well, first I'm going to pause the game because I don't know if something bad can happen. So pause. Now, this game has, like you can see here, a 60 FPS and disabled dynamic resolution patches, but the Steam Deck is not powerful enough to use them. I mean, the disabled dynamic resolution, like maybe, but what is this? Let's call it a feature that the game has when you are in a very heavy part or where it isn't necessary, like in handheld mode, to have the full HD resolution. The game will change to one that has less resolution. The game is aiming to save a little bit of power, so the battery lasts longer and things like that. This is a feature that the game has that you can disable using this patch, so the game runs always at full resolution, at full HD. Now, the game suffers a little bit of performance hit on the Steam Deck when you enable this, but you can use it, like you can get used to it. The 60 FPS, however, is another story. If the device you are trying to run this game doesn't hit the 60 FPS at all times, the game will run at slow motion, and this is the case of the Steam Deck. It doesn't hit the 60 FPS at all times, so yeah, it's not recommended. Now, you can compare here my settings with the ones you have on your own Steam Deck and see what's different, to so you can set it on your own game for it to run like this. Now let's unpause the game. For example, just to have an example, I'm going to fight this. Uh, I don't know how they called in English. These monsters, and so you can see what kind of performance you have to expect when running this game in the Steam Deck. Now, look at the FPS that they are in the low and in the bottom right of the screen. You can see FPS and other settings like the render vulkan mode, handheld mode. Uh, the resolution is the native resolution of the Switch. So let's go. The other thing that I had mentioned is that I'm recording this video using the recently new Steam recording feature that came like a month ago, something like that. And well, recording has a little bit of performance hit on the system, so maybe not some of the FPS that were lost in this fight were caused by the screen recording feature, or maybe not, and there will be no noticeable difference on your Steam Deck. But just to keep in mind, maybe the game will perform better on your Steam Deck because you are not recording the screen like I'm doing. So keep in mind that. Well, this was the showcase, the yeah the showcase of how the end of Zelda Breath of the Wild runs on the Steam Deck. I don't suffer from the paradox of choice, so the first thing that worked in the first settings that work on this game were the ones that I stick with. So maybe you can keep it tinkering with the settings to have better results, but this is what it works for me. What it worked for me, so I keep it playing like that. This is to be. I mean, it's perfectly playable. There's no issue, no missing textures, no performance that is not expected from a Switch title to run. So everything's it's great. Hope you like the video.